Welcome, Hattiesburg, and a pleasant day to all our listeners. This is Abby, your host for Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. I'm here to bring you updates, news, and more from our community. To add to all the excitement, today we have the Mississippi Moments with Kathleen Stringler and a news wrap with Nathan Lee to ensure you're up to date with all the hottest topics. And guess what? We have a very special guest for you today, Keith Elder, with the Terror Lake Haunted Attraction. You definitely want to stay tuned for what they have to share with us today. But before we jump into all the fun, here's a quick message from our sponsors. So hang tight because we'll be right back with more Southern Miss Today.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
Never completely ready to adopt a teen.
For late nights writing English papers.
For your teen's music taste.
For dinners, where they talk more on their phone than with you.
For the first time, they call you Mom.
You're never completely ready to adopt a teen, and you can't imagine the reward.
To learn more about adopting a teen, visit adoptuskids.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. In campus news, today there will be a book discussion of Brother to a Dragonfly. Special Collections is celebrating the life and work of Mississippi author and preacher Will D. Campbell in honor of the 100th anniversary of his birth. To kick off the events, there will be a book discussion of Campbell's National Book Award finalist memoir, Brother to a Dragonfly. In this book, Campbell writes about his life growing up in rural Mississippi. The discussion will be hosted by Dr. Douglas Bristol, a history professor and director at the Center for Studies of the Gulf South. In A Brother to a Dragonfly, Campbell writes about his life growing up poor in Amite Country, Mississippi, during the 1930s alongside his older brother. The book serves as a historical account of Campbell's life with his brother, his tenure as a Baptist preacher, and his involvement in the latest stages of civil rights movement. The event will take place this evening from 6 to 7 p.m. in room 209A in the Cook Library. Also in campus news, tomorrow there will be a STEM Ed speaker, Dr. Julie Stanton. Dr. Julie Stanton is Associate Professor for Cellular Biology and Meigs Distinguished Teaching Professor at the University of Georgia, investigates the metacognitive development of undergraduate life science students. In addition, Stanton studies the strengths and assets of Black and African American science majors and the self-advocacy experiences of students with learning disabilities and ADHD in STEM. The STEM Ed Speaker Series, organized as part of a seminar class by the Center for STEM Education, features invited scholars who share their research and expertise on a variety of STEM topics. In Hattiesburg news, Hattiesburg salon owner studies the effects of hair loss. One local business owner is studying the effects of hair loss and how cosmetologists can help women undergoing breast cancer treatments feel comfortable and confident. Matthews is a cosmetologist and certified hair loss specialist practicing the latter discipline at Like a Lotus Hair Rehab, LLC in Hattiesburg. After she developed a form of alopecia when she was pregnant with her son, she wanted to stretch the ability further into therapeutics through holistic wellness. In Mississippi news, a shooting in Mississippi after homecoming game at Trail Ride leaves 3 dead, 8 hurt. Holmes County Sheriff Willie March told the Cleveland Ledger, a part of the U.S. Today network, that deputies responded at 12:30 a.m. a call stating that multiple people were either shot or dead Saturday near North Highway 17. The shooting happened 5 minutes away from Lexington, Mississippi, about 62 miles north of Jackson, Mississippi. According to March, people were on the trail ride when a shooter opened fire into the crowd following an altercation between young men. March said the shooting occurred after the Holmes County Consolidated Schools homecoming celebration. March told the Clarion Ledger that some of the injuries victims were airlifted to the hospital in Jackson. The additional victims were transported by ambulances. In addition, the sheriff told WJTV that the deputies are searching for the suspects in connection to the shooting. Agents with the Mississippi Bureau of Investigations are assisting with the case. In international news, Cuban power grid collapses for the fourth time after a hurricane. Hurricane Oscar arrival to eastern Cuba Saturday impacted millions of residential places and already facing days without power, as fresh attempts to restore much of the nation's electric grid have failed. In the capital city of Havana early Monday, people were seen outdoors in poor lighting, a few playing dominoes to kill time. Children are opting to sleep outside to cool off from the heat indoors. Schools have also been canceled until Thursday. That's your news update from Southern Miss Today. Next, we'll have the latest in sports and weather, so stay tuned. We'll be back after a word from our sponsors.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
Melissa from Michigan. I work an extra part-time job serving lunch at my child's school, but I still can't afford to put food on our table.
Daniel from California. Choosing whether to pay the rent or pay to fix the car to get to work doesn't leave us with much at all. Now we can't even pay for meals.
Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Welcome back with our action-packed sports segment. Let's dive into the latest scores, highlights, and sports. Get your jerseys on because it's game time. Our next football game will be against James Madison this Saturday, October 26th. Go Eagles! Today, Tuesday, October 22nd, and tomorrow, Wednesday, October 23rd, the women's golf team will be playing at the Old Waverly Golf Club. Also today, the men's basketball team will be playing at the New Orleans Exhibition. Head to southernmiss.com to keep up with the Golden Eagle sports activities. As for weather today, look for a low of 45 with a low chance of rain and a high of 70. The feels like for today is 38 to 73 degrees. Tomorrow, look for a low of 49 and a high of 74 with a low chance of rain. Tomorrow's feels like is 42 to 74 degrees. Up next, we have Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage, with Kathleen Stringler about her experience as an operatic soprano in Germany. Check it out.
This is Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage at the University of Southern Mississippi and supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. I'm Bill Ellison. For Kathleen Striegler, success as a professional opera singer required a clear-eyed assessment of the voice she had been given. She discusses finding happiness as a Mississippi soprano in Germany.
The person who says, I'm going to be an opera singer and sing at the Metropolitan is very fine if you happen to have an incredible gift from God of an incredibly beautiful voice. But if you have a good voice, but not a great voice, and you're willing to put up with a lot, you have to be very realistic about your talent. And I think that I had to hit this at an early age, even while I was still in college here in Mississippi. And I just said to myself, well, I know I'm good enough to sing in a middle-class German house and be their leading singer. And I want to sing with a repertoire theater where I work with the same people all the time. I don't have the great talent that Leontine Price has, but it's very satisfying to me to play a tragic character perhaps on stage and watching the little old ladies from the woods near Darmstadt crying and being generally moved or laughing or forgetting whatever cares they had for the day, and knowing that, well, with the talent I have been given, I'm able to reach people, and I think this is what more can anyone ask out of life.
Bill Ellison hosts Voices of Our People World War II, a new podcast from Mississippi Moments, sponsored by the Mississippi Humanities Council. That's Voices of Our People World War II, wherever you get your podcasts.
That was your Mississippi Moment for today. Coming up, we have the pleasure of hearing from Keith Elder.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Sponsorship comes from American Graphics. Located at 8 Commercial Warehouse Drive in Hattiesburg, American Graphics provides custom screen printing and embroidery. They can be reached by phone at 601-602-2277, and the website is goamericangraphics.com. American Graphics, printing at its finest.
Now, please give a warm Golden Eagle welcome to Keith. How are you?
I am great. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Can you tell everyone a bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Southern Miss alumni. I was a music major here, minored in computer science. Graduated in December of '96. and went on to Shreveport, Louisiana, where I was a band director for about 6 months. And then me and my beautiful bride, which met in the building right across the street in the music building, she's now a professor of piano here, Dr. Ellen Elder. And so we moved to Michigan for 9 years, where she got her master's and doctorate, and then we moved back home. And we live here in Hattiesburg.
Wonderful. Thank you. Can you give us a little information about the event that you're here to talk about?
Yeah, so we call it's a haunted attraction. We call it Terra Lake. It's going to be hosted out at the Hattiesburg Elks Lodge. And if you're not familiar with the lodge, the Elks Lodge is it's a very, very great way to get involved with the community. The Elks National Foundation has donated roughly around $500 million since its founding in 1928. That's $500 million, right? Just recently, our lodge donated to 4 counties for nursing efforts for Forest County, Lamar County, Perry County, and FCHS. They received all essential supplies to support their work for all the nurses there, which totaled around $6,000. And so what we're doing with this particular haunted attraction is we give back to the community, right? So we have expenses, lights to pay, bills to pay, things to keep everything running there. So it's a social fraternal organization, but also we do just a tremendous for our community. Since our lodge has been implemented, we added it up. We donated about $2 million back to the community.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is fantastic. And so anyway, this haunted attraction is going to be held on our property. Most people don't know that our lodge is the largest in the country, not in terms of membership. We have around 700 members, but we have 1,400 acres there. So we have an 80-acre lake. We have a campground. We've got a double emphasized swimming pool and those things. And anyone in the listening area of Hattiesburg can join. They just need to publicly believe in God and also support the Constitution of the United States, and they can join us out there and help us with our charitable contributions. What we're doing is we're hosting a haunted attraction that we're calling Terra Lake, and it's going to be scary. We've got, I think, 8 different scares and the largest maze in the state of Mississippi.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like Shining size maze?
Yeah, it's pretty elaborate. One of our workers out there that was helping us, we were out there working late Sunday afternoon. He walked through it. Now he helped build it, so he knows it. This was during the day, and it was 781 steps just to go through the maze. Now that's the last part that you have to get out of. There are other things before you get there. There is a snake pit. I'm not going to say any more about where that's located at, but we've had workers that have been out there that haven't, like, they may show up and they haven't actually worked the whole time. And we took them through it Sunday, and it was during the daylight at 3 o'clock, and there were screams. So this is legit. This is a legit haunted attraction. The gentleman named Chops, who's one of our members, started, a lot of people may be familiar with the North Forest haunted attraction. And so Chops is one of our members, and he brought all of his talents over here to help us with this one. Now, we're going to run this event October 25th, which starts this Friday. So if you're going to a high school football game, no problem. Come on out. We'll still be there. Saturday on the 26th, we will be there as well. And then we're going to be there on the 30th, Halloween Eve, and Halloween night on the 31st. And the time that we're going to start is dark. So, don't show up at 5 o'clock. I mean, you can to get in line if you want to get in line that early. But we'll start pushing everyone through around dark. The cost for general admission is $15. And if you don't want to stand in line, we have an express lane. So it's $30. You can skip the line, get into the express lane, and go. We will have concessions out there running, hamburgers and hot dogs and those kinds of things, pastries and dishes. I talked to someone last night. They're supposed to have face painting for the kids if you bring the kids out in the family, so that should be pretty fun. There is a fee for that, of course, but you can also do that. All the money raised goes back into our charitable organization. And there are a lot of volunteers helping out there with this event. It takes a village to put this type of event on. So we really want everyone to come out if you dare, if you can make it through it. And so, yeah, that's the scoop of it.
That was a wonderful rundown. Thank you. How long has this event been going on for?
This is going to be our first year to put it on.
Oh, wow.
This is our first year, yeah. And we've put a tremendous amount of work into it. So the way that will work is, well, let me back up. And so those that aren't familiar with with maybe going way out in the country area, it's about 9.5 miles from campus from where we are currently. The best way to get there and the easiest is just to go over to I-59 and then take that south to exit 59. So you'll be on 59, get off at 59, easy to remember. And then you'll take the first right, which is the Elks Lake Road. And then about 4.5 miles down that 2-lane road, you'll see signs. And then you'll turn down that and go into the lodge area. And you'll go up to the pavilion. We'll have parking. We'll have, everybody be designated for parking and stuff with that. And then you'll get to wait and wait for the scares. So yeah, it's our first year doing it, but we've got one of the best in the area, Chops, there. We also have other workers that are members that have supported other haunted attractions in the area, and we thought we could do a pretty good job. I was out there the other day, and it was like 4 o'clock. It was starting to get dusk, right? It's just creepy out there because there's this old house that's sitting on the property. We call it the caretaker's house. There are rumors and stories about that property, but it's like old equipment sitting out there, this old house. And of course you got all the woods and everything that you got to go through. Good luck. It's pretty scary stuff just when you're out there, like during the daytime. So we've got some surprises in store for everyone that's going to come out. I won't give away all of the things with that, but yeah, we're looking for everybody to come out and have a good Halloween. Do something fun with the family, friends. Bring everybody out.
Awesome. You mentioned earlier before we got on I think you said the peas chart. What reactions are you expecting from guests?
Well, we've got this board. We call it the 4 Ps, and we track. So we have radios that we can communicate. And so when somebody is at a scare, people just volunteer information. They're just like, I peed in my pants. And so we get on the radio, got to peer, and we track it on the board up by the pavilion. So we call it the 4 Ps. It's pee, poop, puke, and pass out. And so we track all of those for the attraction itself. We've got also a hayride as part of this. So once you start out, we actually put you on a trailer with hay, so you get to do the old-fashioned hayride, and then we take you up into the woods, up the scary hill into the area where the house is, and that's where we let everyone off, and they venture out from there. The maze itself, though, is dark. Like we don't. It's dark. You can go in there during the day, and it's pretty dark.
Awesome.
I mean, good luck getting out, right? It's not for the faint of heart. Now there is an open area inside of it where it like opens up. We call it the corn maze area, and you can see where you need to go, but it's not easy. Chops designed it. He loves mazes, and we made this one the largest in the state. And that's going to be interesting to see how long it takes people to get out. We know that it takes like 9 minutes just to walk it. 781 steps. It's about 9 minutes. So what is that like? If you take an average step, what is that? 2 feet maybe? If you take an average step, so you multiply that out. So what is that? 1/3 of a mile of a maze, and it's confined into like this 50 by 60 structure that you have to get out. You may have to also dance to get out of the building, or you may get pushed back into the maze to find your way back out. So there is dancing involved to get out of this thing.
Make sure you dance.
Make sure you dance.
You will be put back in. Too bad, I guess, if you don't dance. I don't know. It sounds like you mentioned about the old house and the equipment, that it's already like half spooky as it is.
It's got a good vibe.
A perfect place for it.
It's got a good vibe. I mean, you're going to be there overlooking the lake, at the pavilion whenever you get there. It's a beautiful, beautiful lake and area. We're really proud of having that for our facility. And so, those that haven't been out in a while can come check it out and hang out, get reacquainted with it. And if somebody wants to join and be a part of that organization, we certainly welcome that. There will be ways to join up and sign up there as well. But we've got what's crazy about it, Abby, is that when people do it, like our volunteers that do it, the last night is not going to be like the first night. Because what's going to happen is we're going to be like, oh, you know what would be cool? If we did this, we could get them there. And we could put this over there. And we could add this. I'm going to go to the party store and get this. Right? So there's all of this. It just becomes an addiction of just like, I'm going to scare more people.
I'm going to add stuff
I'm going to add stuff to it. And so every day as it grows, it won't be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like it'll be the same, you'll get on the hayride and you'll listen to different music because it won't be exactly the same stuff that we play on there, right? And then different people will be stationed in different areas at different times, right? Because not everybody is able to work like all 4 nights. Some of us are, but others aren't. And so you don't know what you're going to get each night you come out, which is kind of fun. But those that work, that have worked these attractions, I've worked them before. They're just addictive. Like you're like, I got to tweak my game. I gotta do this. I gotta hide better. I gotta get better makeup. All of those things come out to play with it. Nestwood really makes it fun. So for the students out there, it's a little bit of a drive, probably 9.5 miles, but you'll get to see some great parts of Hattiesburg area. It's still it still has a Hattiesburg address out there. Hattiesburg's a pretty big big place, right? And so you can come out there with it. And if you haven't been down that way, when you come off of the 59 exit off of I-59, you come off of that, you'll see a new Love's truck stop. They're building it. It hasn't opened yet. I think it opens the 24th actually. So on the way back from the Haunted Forest, you can stop and hit up Arby's there on the way back. They're putting an Arby's in the Love truck stop there. So
So you mentioned that you've worked attractions before. I'm really glad you mentioned that. What is your favorite reaction from a guest, if you have one?
This total terror. Like you can just see, like there are like, movie screams, I'm scared. And then there's just pure terror, and they just froze. They just stop. And they're just like, I can't. And that's and some of them will tell you like, stop or I'm going to pass out, like stop. That's the moment, It's all about the surprise, right? Some people are like, yeah, I know this isn't real, but if you can make it feel more real, that's what you're going for. You're going for that realism, right? And really just trying to be as surprising as you can in the moment. As soon as they think things are calm, then something jumps out. You get them again, right? And we've been having like a little competition. Somebody, they'll be working and you'll come up, hey! And then, we're practicing as we build everything out, so to speak, which has been fun. I really appreciate all the volunteers that have helped. It takes a lot to put this thing on. I can't tell you how many man hours it's taken. To build that maze structure and all of the scares that we've put together, it's a lot. And so we're hoping it stays put for next year. This is going to be a yearly thing that we're doing. But it's one of those events that really kind of makes Hattiesburg. Having a place to go during Halloween, go out there, and enjoy getting the crap scared out of you. And then you can come back into the city and do all the city things, but
Cry a little bit
at the end. Yeah.
This is the first one that this is my second year here. I did not hear about any, well, obviously this wasn't a thing last year, but this is like, I don't know if either I was not paying attention or if like everyone's starting to do more Halloween stuff, because the Switchyard is doing a haunted house and this one's not like, it's a kid's thing, so like don't expect to get horrified, but it's like Thorough, I believe, is doing a Spooky Hollow thing for kids where it's like a nature related. I think they're doing cryptids and stuff. And I have not heard of this since last year, and this is very exciting for me, and I need to do all of it.
Yeah. Save up and do all of it. Well, the North Forest has been going on for like 30 something years. It's for the fire department up there, and they've been doing that one for a long time. And we had members that are in our crew went out there I think Friday evening to go see how they were doing and how things worked, get some ideas, see how they were coming along. And when I was in college, I didn't hear about the North Forest. It's been going on a long time. I'm not that old, but it wasn't going on or I never did hear about it. I think a lot of the local communities knew, right? We have Facebook ads that we're running, trying to use social media. So if you want to find the exact stuff, we have a primer video out there. If you search for Hattiesburg Elks Lodge 599, you should be able to bump across it on Facebook and see the ads, see the flyers, see the times and dates and all that. If you're not good like me at listening and writing things down, you can go look it up out there and find it. So I think whenever I was in college here, I was thinking about this the other day. I didn't have a very good vehicle, right? And so I probably would have rode my motorcycle out to this thing though. Saved up and went out there for it. But anyway, love for everybody to come out, check it out. It's going to be amazing. I mean, this is our first year, but we've got the right things in place and the right vibe, the right thing going on with it. So,
well, thank you so much for coming in and talking about all of this. Coming up, we've got Nathan Lee running down campus mental health resources on campus.
Mental health has come to the forefront of issues that plague the world today, and people are starting to take notice. We have recently seen prominent figures like Selena Gomez, Ryan Reynolds, and even Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson come out discussing mental health problems they have faced in their lives. This shows that anyone can be battling mental health issues at any point of their lives, no matter the fame or money. Right now, one group of people that face some of the most mental health issues is college students. According to Mayo Clinic Health, up to 44% of college students have reported symptoms of depression and anxiety. Another Mayo Clinic statistic shows that as many as 75% of students who struggle with depression and anxiety are reluctant to seek help. This raises the question to why a high percentage of college students are facing mental health problems and what are the causes for these issues. Southern Miss student Jane Claire Fort talks about her battle with anxiety and how other people may feel that are dealing with similar problems.
I feel like it's very much still stigmatized, and especially in the South. I know I grew up in a family that was like, if you're struggling, we don't talk about it, we face it, and we get over it. And that was the game plan. And I felt extremely isolated, and I felt like I was the only person in this world that was struggling really bad with my mental health. And I think that's something a lot of people face, because when you're going through those bouts of anxiety and depression and that panic-ridden feeling all the time, you feel like it's so difficult to do everyday tasks.
Southern Miss students like Fort are starting to come out in droves to talk about their own issues and how the university did or did not help them. Some similar mental health issues that college students deal with are depression, anxiety, suicide ideation and intent, eating disorders, and substance misuse. In a 2021 Healthy Mind study, 22% of college students screened positive for major depression and 41% screened positive for depression overall. Students at the University of Southern Miss have given mixed reviews on the results from the university's Student Counseling Services and Center of Behavioral Health. Fort talks about how the university helped her on her journey.
Like I said earlier, they were really great with working with me with my schedule, but I think that's really all they contributed, which was great. I really needed to be online at the time, but I think kind of offering and talking about the services USM has more, to me, would have probably been more beneficial, because at the time I didn't really know any of the counseling services options that were available, and those really weren't communicated with me. So I think broadcasting that more would have been more beneficial during that period of my life.
Understanding that you are not the only one dealing with problems is becoming a more consistent feeling among students at Southern Miss. Still, there are students and people everywhere that will not be able to relate to that feeling due to the stigma that followed mental health for years. Now, though, people are starting to break from that mold and are unafraid to express their feelings to others if that can help them. Pushing this narrative can set an example for the youth and people that do not know how to counter mental illness. Students like Rosemary Pinella and Jane Claire Fort are some that can say they have been through the worst times, but still recognize that mental health is a marathon, not a sprint.
I think I've come a really long way, but it's never something that comes to an end. It's always continuous.
I'm Nathan Lee, USM reports.
Thank you for listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. We are thankful for Justin Ware, our audio engineer, Michaela Williams, our film producer, for keeping this bird soaring. We especially want to thank our program director, Shania Williams, our executive producer, Owari, our assistant producer, Adeline Fields, and our general manager, Dr. Martin, as well as our guest today, Keith Elder. That's all for Southern Miss Radio. Thank you for listening. Remember, fly, eagle, fly. I'm your host, Abby Buzegard, signing off. Stay creepy.
Sponsorship comes from Southern Beverage, your local Michelob Ultra distributor. Michelob Ultra has significantly fewer carbs and calories per serving if you are watching those in your diet. You can reach Southern Beverage by phone at 601-268-9111, or you can find them on the internet at southernbeverage.com. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri, and Southern Beverage ask you to please drink responsibly.
My simple solution to the problem was remove people from the scene and help them feel safer.
In response to attacks against Asian Americans, Maddie Park raised over $250,000 to donate cab rides to the Asian community.
There is so much more work to be done. We really need to come together and tackle this issue as a community.
Support the Asian community. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the